All right, beautiful people. Hello, welcome. Let's send out some Discord notifications real quick. There we go, there we go. All right. Let's see. Gamer, what's up, dude? First in stream, welcome. What's up, B? What's up, Upgrade? What's up, Anthony? What's up, guys? Welcome. How you guys doing today? What's up, DC? What's up, Jennifer? What's up, Kay? This exact title is what I was thinking to myself earlier this morning. Unfortunately, it's what a lot of people are thinking, so that's exactly why we're doing this. What's up, Luis? I even went to listen to a past video of yours with the same title this morning. Yeah, like I said, good morning, by the way. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, most people are thinking this. So, we're going to talk about it today. It's crucial, man. It's crucial. We have got to correct some perspectives on this. What's up, Jennifer? What's up, Lauren? Doing pretty damn good. I seen your accomplishment over on the, your accomplishment post over on the Discord, gamer. Good shit, good shit. Keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up. Hello, what's up, Kayla? Chat's already starting to fill up. We won't have to wait too long. And we can go ahead and get started. Let me just send one more notification real quick, guys, and then we'll go ahead and get rolling. Why not? All right. All right. All right, all right. I see you put a shirt on. I made one TikTok where you could see my shoulders and people are losing their fucking minds. Next time I'm going to have both erected nipples showing. Thank God for this video because I was thinking this title last night. All right, guys, let's jump into it. We've already got an entire packed chat, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this one. Let's jump right into this one. Let me get this music out of here. DC's laughing. Yeah, next time, dude, I showed a little bit of shoulders in a TikTok, and people are going crazy. Next time, I'm going to take some ice cubes to my nipples before I do it, and then I'm going to give you a full body shot at this rate. All right, we are off track. So, today we're going to be talking about it doesn't feel like it's working, which is a very, very important and slept on topic. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if you don't comprehend or understand this topic, it could be the difference maker between you and recovery. Like that's how important this is. It's pretty damn important. So we're going to talk about it. It doesn't feel like it's working. All right. So here's the thing, right? I'm just gonna start off by giving you guys a little play-by-play of what I personally feel like happens when people join and watch my channel, right? I'm gonna give you a little play-by-play. So what I feel like happens to a pretty serious amount of people here on the channel, like 80% of people, at least at first, is and I want to see people admit it, man. I want to see a show of hands if you can relate. People join the streams, they join the videos, they watch the videos, they watch the streams, they join the community, and what happens is they hear things, right, that I say, okay, when intrusive thoughts come in and they're very sticky and they're very intrusive and they're filling you full of anxiety. And when symptoms come in of anxiety, we want to accept that, but we don't want to go down rabbit holes of rumination and worry, right? So you want to respond to that with some sort of accepting inner voice, non-engagement inner voice, whatever you want to call it. But here's what happens. People understand that. And then they understand my second main key, which is live. So they're getting up, they're doing things, and they get an intrusive thought that causes a ton of anxiety. They get a bunch of anxiety symptoms, right? And what they do is they say, okay, that guy on YouTube told me to respond to that with the accepting inner voice. So they say something to that thought or to that symptom, like, you know, maybe it's more of the aggressive approach. You know what? I don't care if you're here. You're allowed to be here. I hope you stay. Or maybe it's more of a neutral approach. They say something like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm just going to let that happen. And they continue to respond to that thought, because thoughts come, you know, frequently, or sometimes they can be a bit sticky. They continue to respond to those thoughts or feelings with that accepting inner voice, and they continue living, which is exactly what we want. But here's what happens, right? Here's the unfortunate part. They don't dedicate. And the reason they don't dedicate is because they do that like 5 times, and because the anxiety isn't going away, and sometimes it's even getting more intense, which can happen, right? They quit. They quit. They're done. They don't want to do it anymore. This isn't working. I responded with the accepting inner voice like 4 times, dude. It's not working. I'm done. It feels so bad, so I'm going to go back to thinking it's so bad. It feels so bad, so I'm going to go back to thinking there's something I need to do about it. It feels so bad, so I'm going to go back to compulsions and problem solving. It feels so bad, so I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. Right? So they do it like 4 times, and then that's the end of the story. We're right back into the bad old habits. We're right back into what's got you here to begin with and what is going to keep you here in the end, right? So it doesn't feel like it's working. Let's knock that out and get rid of that, because that's holding so many people back. I'm here to tell you that it's not supposed to feel like it's working. Right? I want you to view it like this. If you step into a really, really hot room, right? It's burning up, man. I mean, you're sweating. You step into a really hot room, and you're like, you know what? It's so hot in here, I feel like I'm going to faint. I'm going to turn the air conditioner on. And you walk over and you turn the air conditioner on. Do you immediately sit down and say, why isn't it cooler in here? No, you don't do that. That doesn't make any logical sense. You sit down and you fucking wait for the room to cool down, right? You don't turn the air conditioner on immediately and say, why hasn't the temperature of the room went down? You give it time, right? Which is what people are not doing, and it's why a lot of people are not healing. Right? It's why a lot of people are not healing. There's a good chance that once this stream goes off, they'll continue to do it. I hope not, because all I want is to see people heal. But there is a good chance that once this stream comes off, they'll continue to do the same thing, which is they'll try to use the accepting inner voice for a little bit, but because it feels so bad, they go right back to the rabbit hole. They go right back to the fighting with the thoughts and feelings. They go right back to the same old bullshit that is going to keep them exactly where they are, right? It's going to keep them exactly where they are. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to accept that. And nobody wants to take responsibility for that. But it's beyond true, right? Again, you don't walk into a really hot room, turn the air conditioner on, and ask yourself, why isn't it immediately cooler in this room? You don't do that. So again, what happens, people watch the streams, they watch the videos, then let's give an example. They get a really sticky, intrusive thought that just gives them so much anxiety, maybe even inner panic, right? And they say, okay, accepting inner voice, and they start using that accepting inner voice. They're not going down the rabbit holes. They're just accepting that the feelings and thoughts are there. They do that for like 3 minutes. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And then because the anxiety is not immediately going away, or because it's even getting higher, which can happen, right? It's not your fault. It just anxiety fluctuates. That's normal. So because the anxiety hasn't immediately went away, or because it's fluctuating and it's getting a little bit higher, they throw it out the window. We're done with the accepting inner voice. We're done with all of that. We're not going to use that anymore. We go right back to the bad habits. So that's what happens. And this stream is mostly to prove to you why it doesn't work the way you want it to work, or why it doesn't work the way you think it should work, right? It's because you can't turn the air conditioner on and immediately the room gets cooler. what happens is the amygdala's got to go through the stages. It's got to go through its phases. So just because you've got an intrusive thought that's causing you a ton of anxiety and you're using that accepting inner voice, the amygdala still has to run through the alarm. It has to run through the different stages and phases, right? So this alarm is going off. You feel really rough and you're using that accepting inner voice. It's not going to bring the alarm down immediately. It's not going to shut the alarm off. The only thing the accepting inner voice is doing is keeping you from fueling the alarm so that the amygdala can learn in time that you're okay. So what you're really doing is just staying out of it and allowing the amygdala, that's what you're doing with the accepting inner voice. You're staying out of it and allowing the amygdala to run through the phases and the stages until it gets to the point that, hey, we're all good. That takes time. So what happens is people use that accepting inner voice and they're staying out of it. The amygdala is running through its phases. It's got to go through its phases. And before it can reach that conclusion that all is well and that thought doesn't deserve anxiety or that feeling is okay or that situation's okay, before it can run through its necessary steps and reach that conclusion, people drop the accepting inner voice and they get back into the mental fighting before the brain and the amygdala has had the chance to go through all of its steps. Right? And it doesn't work immediately. That's why, because the amygdala still has to go through its necessary stages and steps to determine that the alarm is false. But before it has a chance to even do that, people drop the work, they drop the practice, and they get back into the BS. They get back into the BS. And it'll just never work that way, right? It'll just never work that way because you're trying to play this game with your rules. Your rules say that as soon as you leave a thought or a feeling alone, as soon as you use an accepting statement instead of ruminating and worrying, that you should feel fine. And that's just not the rules of the game. The rules of the game are you're going to use accepting non-engagement statements and live your life, and the amygdala in time will go through its necessary steps to determine that that danger is not a real one. That's not going to happen on your time. It's not going to happen with your rules, right? So if you are playing the game of anxiety with your own set of made-up rules, those have to go. Those have to go if you're ever going to get where you want to be. Your made-up rules have to go. You can't play the game on a set of rules that you have come up with. The game is played like this. You don't get involved with the thoughts and feelings. You accept them. You don't do the rumination and worry. You use that accepting inner voice instead, and you're still going to feel like crap. You're still, and sometimes you might even feel like more crap, right? That's how the game's played. But in time, as the amygdala goes through its stages, as long as you stick to that and you're not fueling the fire, it will get the message, right? So again, people just drop it way too early. They drop the practice when it gets tough. They drop the practice because they want those instant results. They want that instant gratification. And as long as that's your perspective or mindset, you're not going to get where you want to be with your recovery. And I know people hear that and they say, well, why would he say something like that? Because it's true, and I want you to heal, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. If you want to reach recovery, you got to stop playing this by your own made-up set of rules. The rules are you don't get involved. You use that accepting inner voice, even if it doesn't feel like it's working, because it's not going to feel like it's working, because the amygdala has to go through its necessary steps. Right? Whether you're using the accepting inner voice or not, the alarm still has to play out. So again, we don't sugarcoat things. The fact of the matter is, if you want to reach recovery, you can't play by your own made-up set of rules. And that's because if you get an intrusive thought, let's say, for example, or a situation that makes you anxious or a feeling or whatever, and you're using that non-engagement inner voice, you're not ruminating, you're not worrying, the fact of the matter is it's got to play out. It's got to play out. And if you decide that, hey, because I'm not, because it doesn't make me feel better right away, I'm going to go back to my old bad habits. If that's what you decide, then that's where you'll stay. Right? That's where you'll stay. So again, I really like the analogy of, if you walk into a house and it's burning up and you turn on the AC, you don't immediately sit down and ask why it's not cooler in the house. You just let it happen. You've done what you can do, right? You use the accepting inner voice every time you're tempted to worry over a thought or feeling. You've done what you can do, and now you just got to let the house cool down. That's what it comes down to. But again, if you're living by the whole mindset of, oh well, fuck this practice. I'm not using that accepting inner voice because it doesn't feel like it's working. That's like a 4-year-old, right? That's like a 4-year-old stomping their feet and saying, I don't get what I want when I want it, right? And it's not going to work that way. It's not going to work that way. So again, like Henry in chat says, I fail every time I try. There's a good possibility he is considering himself failing because he's basing it off the way that he feels. But if you stick to the accepting inner voice, no matter the way that you feel, and you don't get into the rumination and worry, whether you believe it or not, eventually the amygdala will run through the necessary steps and the alarm will come down, right? Now, that's not going to happen on your time, but see, that's the problem. People want to do the work, not you, Henry, right, but just in general. People want to do the work if they get that instant result. If they get that, oh my God, Wonder Bro, I'm using the accepting inner voice, but the feelings are still there. They're supposed to still be there, right? Like, oh my God, Wonder Bro, I'm not engaging with those thoughts and feelings, but the feelings are rising. That can happen. Oh my God, Wonder Bro, I'm using non-engagement responses and I'm living my life, but the thought's still there and it's still causing me anxiety. It's supposed to, right? But if you stick to what you're doing with the non-engagement inner voice and living your life, the work is being done behind the scenes. The amygdala is going through the necessary steps, okay? So this is very crucial, right? This is very crucial for obvious reasons. If you're playing the game with your own made-up rules, you're going to fail, right? You're going to fail. You have to play the game with those rules, with the rules in mind that, hey, this takes time, and even though you're doing all the right things, you can still feel like crap, okay? If you don't play by those rules, you're going to get suckered into rumination and worry and negativity every single time, all right, you guys? So this stream is very important. It's very important because, again, you just cannot play by your own rules. You can't do it. If you're playing by your own rules, you're going to fail, right? You have to play by the rules of the game. So one last time, I don't want to run the risk of sounding too repetitive, but one last time, right? If you don't dedicate to that non-engagement, which means thoughts and feelings come in and you're just using your non-engagement responses, hey, it is what it is, or whatever you want to tell yourself. If you are doing that, great. But if you're doing that with the attitude of, why is it feeling worse? Why do I not feel better? Then you're just getting sucked right back into fueling the fire. And it's supposed to feel bad. It's supposed to feel strong. It's supposed to feel intense. Using that work has nothing to do with getting instant results or benefits. As long as you are using your non-engagement inner voice and living your life, you're doing everything fine. You're doing everything absolutely fine. The amygdala has to go through its necessary steps and necessary stages before it can determine that the alarm is false. You just have to shut up during the process, right? So, again, made-up rules, you got to toss them. If you're playing by your own set of rules, you're never going to heal in this game, right? So that was the point of today's stream, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. It's just one of those messages that I feel like need to be heard by a lot of people, because a lot of people are dropping the work and not doing the work because they're not getting instant results. But that's not the way the game is played. As long as you're sticking to your non-engagement inner voice and living your life, then and you still feel like crap, and maybe you feel like even more crap on some days, that has nothing to do with it. The way you feel is completely irrelevant. Your comfort is irrelevant. Right? And again, people will hear that and they'll say, oh, how dare he? No, your comfort's irrelevant. Sorry. The way you feel is irrelevant. Sorry. As long as you're doing the work, the amygdala will eventually get the point here. I'm not the bad guy. Your amygdala is the one, right, who has to go through the necessary steps, whether you're doing the right thing or not. So that wasn't my decision. That's just how your brain works. Whether you're, even if you're using that non-engagement inner voice and just living your life, right, the amygdala still has to go through the necessary steps, whether you're okay with that or not. That's just how the brain's going to work, right? I urge you to become okay with that, because if you're not okay with that and you're trying to play by your own rules, oh my God, I'm using my non-engagement inner voice, accepting these thoughts and feelings, I'm not feeling better, oh my God, if you play by those rules, you're going right back into fueling the fire, right? So again, I know it's one of those streams that are very important, but at the same time, people don't like to hear. this stream. They don't like to hear what I have to say as far as you're not going to feel instantly good doing this work. But if you don't realize that and you don't accept that, then that's just a breeding ground for you to go right back into fighting. And that's why it's really important for people to hear this message, whether it's a message they want to hear or not, right? So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to get some music back on. Thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate it, guys. Let's see. Let's get this music back on, and we're just going to go right back into hanging out with chat, see what you guys are up to. Give me just a second. All right. Who do we still have in here? Let's do a quick roll call. Let's do a quick roll call. Let's see. We got Dom. We got Steph. We got Gamer. Jennifer. Luis. What's up, guys? Kate. What's up? What a timely message. Excuse me. Rick. What's up, dude? Luis, the work sucks and there's no timetable to feel better. That's why it's a trust dive, but it's worth it because either way it's going to suck. It's kind of like a trust drive until you realize how the brain works. Then it's less about a trust drive and more about just understanding the science behind it, right? When you get one of those thoughts that really get to you, tell yourself immediately, I'm not going down that road, then feel the anxiety, or even if there's no anxiety, with it even better. Yeah, anxiety, no anxiety. If you get a thought that you want to ruminate on, you got to catch yourself, stop yourself from that, use that non-engagement response. It's called an NER, but you can call it whatever you want to call it, the accepting inner voice, whatever. Anxiety, no anxiety, let it happen, don't get into the rumination, and give it time, See, that's where people bail out, man. That's where people bail out because they want to play it by their own rules. You can't play it by your own rules. Best part, you don't need to be perfect. Absolutely not. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just ride the roller coaster to the best of your ability and tell yourself those accepting things. Yes. Jennifer agrees. I agree. What's up, Lauren? Real talk. Comfort is not part of the healing. It's not. It's really not. But it's better than doing it wrong and being uncomfortable forever. Exactly. Talk a lot of symptoms like dizziness, agoraphobia. Why do you never talk of tetanus? Don't you know anyone with it? I know a lot of people with it, but if I was going to talk about every symptom that there was in the book, we'd be here until my 58th birthday, right? So yeah, I mean, if you guys got any specific symptoms that you want to talk about, feel free to bring them up. But there is a lot of symptoms that exist. But yes, the ringing in the ears is very common. I actually coach several people that have the ringing in the ears. But here's the thing. Here's another reason. Not only do I not talk about every symptom in the book because we'd be here for a very, very long time, but there's also another good reason for that. Because I'm going to give you the same advice no matter what your symptom is. Like, there's not a secret formula to deal with ringing in the ears, right? There's not a secret formula to dealing with the anxiety symptom of a pounding heart. There's not a secret formula to dealing with shaky jelly legs, right? There's not a secret formula to certain symptoms, right? There's no secret formulas to any symptoms. All anxiety symptoms are treated with the same advice, which is everything you just heard in this stream, right, can be applied to your symptoms, whether it's ringing in the ears or it's not ringing in the ears. So a couple good reasons why I haven't been over every symptom that exists. It would be very difficult to do so. And not only that, I'm going to give you the same advice. So if your next comment, which is going to sound something like, so what do I do about the ringing in the ears? Well, I'm going to tell you everything that I just told everybody else, right? And that, I feel like that's very important, because if there's people out there who believe that their anxiety symptoms are something that need to be handled differently than other anxiety symptoms, that's a huge problem. It's a huge issue. They are not handled any differently. They're not handled any differently, right? This is the only way out. Absolutely. Is it normal to be attaching to things more when sensitized? People and things, even food choice is hard. It's always what is better to eat. So is it normal to be attaching to things more when sensitized? People and things? I guess you could say it's normal to be attaching to things in kind of like a coping way. Maybe out of habit, maybe out of some sort of reassurance or compulsion. Like, you could attach yourself to compulsions pretty easily. And sometimes compulsions can come in the form of people. So yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see. Probably missed some comments up here earlier. Dr. Claire Weeks says time is important. Yeah, because, I mean, again, you can't play it with your own rules. I know people want to play it with their own rules. It would be nice if we lived in a world where retraining the brain and healing the brain as far as anxiety is concerned is something that just happens immediately, right? So, but we don't. We absolutely don't. The stream understanding the rules of the game is very good. I've just simplified it as acceptance equals not worrying. You could do that. Just have to do it for a prolonged period of time for true results. Yes, you cannot allow the fact that you don't get instant benefits from the work to sucker you back into the bad habits that got you here to begin with. Right? Does that make sense? Very, very important. Very, very important. Honestly, I gave up on it working. I take it day by day, just applying the 2 keys. When it works, it works. I love it, Lewis. I mean, that is the mindset to have, because, again, if you try to play by your own rules, you're really, really in for quite the ride. Quite the ride. All right, I think we're caught up. That I can attach to things too fast, clinging to things, friends, etc. Like I said, maybe in like a compulsion sort of way, you can absolutely use other people as a compulsion. All right, guys, give me just a second. I'll be right back. All right. Wonder Bro, been having a few good days and yet feeling good with mental clarity feels weird. I've been accepting and allowing that weird clarity feeling as well. When you're in a continued state of anxiety for so long and you start to come out of that, that's going to feel very foreign and odd and just overall strange. But you're doing your absolute best, Luis, especially with the accepting and allowing, because that's all you can do. You will start to adjust. You have to think of it this way: as much as you hate anxiety, it has become your new norm, right? It's become your new norm. So when you start to get that feeling of clarity back, that's going to feel different. It's going to feel weird, and it's going to be easy for you to overthink that, which is what we're trying to avoid. It's what we're trying to avoid. Let's see. I tend to over-worry about my blood pressure getting higher when I'm highly anxious, and that keeps me in that state. So then I'm like, what do you recommend? Well, you've got no control over it, right? So first things first, we have to be honest. You've got no control over it. There is absolutely zero control over that anxiety. So the question then becomes, do you continue to go down the path of the rumination and the worry when those symptoms are present, because they're going to be there one way or another. So do you go down the path of rumination and worry over something that you don't have control over, that keeps you in this unhealed sort of a boat situation, right? Or do we work on it? Do we work on it? Which I know sounds like a really cliche answer, but do we work on that? Do we work on that, or do we just continue to make the same mistakes? And that's really just a question you have to ask yourself. It's a question that you have to ask yourself. I will be training as a flight attendant soon. Nice. I'm already worrying when I'll have another panic attack, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I wanted to do without the fear. So let's try to stay away from the worry about having another panic attack, because if you do, you know exactly how to handle it, right? And all the rumination and worry that you do about having a potential panic attack in the future doesn't make it any less likely that you're going to have a potential panic attack in the future. It makes it more likely, right? Because your nervous system. So... serious question. This one is hard for me. I have my good moments and good days like everyone, but and when they're good, they're great, but when they're bad, I find myself wanting that good feeling instantly. So serious question. This one is okay. Comments are coming through twice, I think. Let's see. So yeah, wanting that good feeling instantly comes down to the impatience. It comes down to not remembering how the game is played, right? It comes down to getting back into an attitude of this should go away instantly. I should get instant results. I should get instant benefits. So this is really a good stream for you, Jay, if you're struggling with that, because again, you say that when they're bad, I find myself wanting that good feeling instantly. That again comes down to going down rumination and the worry, instead of reminding yourself that, hey, this will get the idea. The amygdala will start to get the idea as long as I stay out of the rumination and worry. So it's kind of like forgetting the facts and just wanting that instant relief. So this was a really good stream for you. Yeah, definitely, for sure. How long did it take? I'm feeling a lot of progress, thanks, but it's so slow. It can be slow. It can be slow. It's a long journey. It's a long journey. It can take months. It could take a year. I mean, I don't know. It could be tomorrow that you start to feel a little bit better. Now, I'm not saying that it could take months or a year to feel some sort of relief. I'm saying that it can take quite some time for concrete results, right? I'm not saying it takes quite some time for relief, you know, but who knows? Who knows? We can't predict time frames. So, no, I'm in a pretty healthy nervous system, but it did take a while. It took a while. So yeah, you say thanks, but it's so slow. It happens on its own time, right? It happens on its own time. It's not something that can be predicted or nailed down. And the more you ruminate and worry about time, that's just more rumination and worry, which is what you're trying to avoid in a sensitized nervous system, right? Let's see. How long does recovery? Yeah, exactly, Anthony. Just like I told the last commenter, it takes as long as it wants to take. It's not really something that can be discussed or nailed down. It can be different for everyone, right? It can be different for everyone. Let's see. What time is it for you? Let's see, Frack. I'm gonna call you Frack. I don't even have what ifs anymore. More likely very obsessive thoughts about life, about people, about school. Common. I mean, you can obsess about anything, right? It doesn't have to be about anxiety. What's up, Hunk? What's up, dude? When is a good time to try medication? I don't know. I can't really answer that. It's one of those questions I don't have the answer to. The body is an amazing self-healing system. We just have to leave it alone to do its work. It sucks. It's uncomfortable, but there's not much we can do but leave it alone and do the work. I love it, gamer. I mean, that is the truth, right? You got to accept the truth. A lot of people are in denial about the fact that it takes time, and being in denial doesn't help you. It hurts you, right? So you might as well have that moment of realization where you say, yeah, this is the science behind it. The science says that it takes time, right? A lot of denial about the fact that it takes time, and you're only hurting yourself with that, because reality is going to remain reality whether you're in denial over it or not. 7:30 p.m. UK time. Nice. It is only 2 here, 2 in the afternoon. Are we still talking about shoulders? I find it so strange how it kind of just happens out of nowhere, because when I was younger, I never had it till it hit me in quarantine. I had no idea what was going on. It feels like it happens out of nowhere, but it's really not out of nowhere. You've probably had bad habits for a while, maybe your entire life, maybe not, but the point is you've probably had bad habits of rumination and worry and obsession for quite some time, which of course is taxing to the nervous system. So it does feel like it happens out of nowhere. Maybe you get your first really big bout of panic out of nowhere, or anxiety, whatever, but it's usually 9 times out of 10 an accumulation of bad habits over time. Been treating myself like a baby, getting back to normal life, baby steps, about living life again. It's been working slowly. Luis, you've been dedicated since day one, dude. I love it. My stomach and chest have both been killing me since I had a setback last week. Is this something you suggest I just let be? The feeling is like a hunger and gas pain on my left side under my rib cage. Of course, I'm no doctor, so I can't tell you whether or not you should let a physical pain just be, because I can't diagnose you, right? So that's like one of those trick questions, man. It's such a trick question. I can't tell someone who's having physical pain that they should just accept it. I can't do that. But at the same time, right, that's what people expect me to say. You should definitely accept your anxiety and your symptoms, and if you feel like you absolutely need to go see a doctor, you should go see a doctor, right? Like, I can't tell you not to do that. That would be very irresponsible of me. So yeah, that's kind of how I have to answer those questions, because I don't know. If you know yourself, you know your body, you feel like you need to go to the doctor. But in the meantime, you should always be using the advice one way or the other. And that goes for the mind as well. It will let go of pathways and false beliefs the more you do that mental work of non-engaging. Absolutely. The believability, right, of these beliefs and thoughts lose strength. 100%, gamer. You know your shit, dude. You know your shit. You just have to do the work. Which you are, so congrats. What about sleep? My mind wakes me up at 5 and doesn't want to go back to sleep. I wonder, are we going back to normal sleep? To try to force sleep is a bad idea, because it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you try to force sleep, the more you work yourself up, and the more you work yourself up, the more unlikely you are to sleep, right? So my suggestion would be, if you can't sleep, get on with your day, no matter what time it is. If there's something you can do, try again later. To lay there and kind of like mentally beat yourself, it's not going to get you any closer to that sleep. What's up, Ellie? Because when I was younger, I did worry about a lot of shit all the time. It was never as hard as it was during quarantine, which was strange. It was just thoughts, but they'd pass. Yeah, so sometimes those bad habits can build and build and build. Eventually, they boil over and you start to experience anxiety, and then we got to get a handle on it. I remember the first time I asked symptom questions in a stream, I got a stern accept and allow no free passes. Look at the name of the stream. Yes. You'll know if something is serious. You won't have to second guess if it's anxiety or not. Trust me, this is coming from someone who dealt with horrible health anxiety for years. Yeah, it's one of those trick questions, because it's like, if somebody comes to me and says they're experiencing some sort of pain, I can't tell them not to go to the doctor, right? If they want to go to the doctor. But at the same time, what you said is very true. If it's something serious, you'll know. So yeah. I mean, you've only got 2 options. Either you go to the doctor, you don't go to the doctor, but either way, you should be using the advice in the meantime, right? Does that make sense? So the advice will always be a given. You never want to ruminate or worry over anything, right? But if you want to go to the doctor in the meantime, you absolutely can. Absolutely can. But if you need reassurance to move on, then get it, but you can't ruminate about it afterwards. Absolutely. Yeah, just like I was saying, I mean, one way or another, no matter what decision you make, you should be using the advice. You should definitely be using the advice. And don't ruminate on the decision you should make either. Like, just make the decision. Are you going to go? Are you not going to go? And then move on from there. I know, I make it sound so easy. It's easier said than done. I know, I understand. This will probably be a short one today, you guys. I didn't even really plan on being here today. I had some other things going on. So this will probably be a short one. We're about to wind it down. Of course, when we have short streams like this, we're not worried about typical. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get on these topics and I'm like, that would make for a good stream, and then I can't help myself unless I do the stream, and that's exactly what happened today. So I'm gonna keep this one a bit short for another reason too. This is probably gonna be one of those streams that I send around a lot because it really covers an important topic, and I don't want there to be a overwhelming or intimidating amount of time on this stream. So we're gonna wrap this one up. But thank you guys so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. But yeah, that's everything, dude. I love you guys. Check me out on TikTok, Vacate Fear. We just signed up over there. We're really close to 1,000. I didn't think that TikTok would be that popular, but you know, apparently it is. So we're really close to 1,000. We're gonna start streaming over there as well. But yeah, thank you guys for everything, man. We're almost at like 11.5K or something subs over here. So if you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do so. And until next time, guys, as always, right there, stay awesome.